absolutely love how much support that we get from everyone. And we just wanted to give a big shout out and a reminder of how important it is to subscribe and download to Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you're listening, just because it will really help us grow. And you know what? We've got some big effing things happening this year, and I'm not going to properly swear.
I was like, she's going to do it. She's going to do it.
I was close. I was close. But we do also have our 10-day manifesting challenge, and we're not going to rabbit on about it for too long. But it is live. You can join now. You didn't miss it on Sunday. It's available for anyone to join. So sign up, go to our website, halfasandwichpod.com. Join the challenge, 10 days of manifesting magic.
The feedback has been fantastic. I've had a couple of people in the salon today that are doing it and they're loving it. And
I know, I've had a good few messages.
Yeah. So that is fantastic. But back to, we actually met up for the launch day, and Charlotte came down to Athol, and we met up there first at my place, and there happened to be the Sunday market, of course. And there's a Sunday market all year round, which is mental because it's freezing in the winter. And there was 2 people there, and I said, Charlotte, are you up for it? And you said yes, for some Reiki and card reading. And I couldn't believe you said yes, but you did.
I know, and I was totally up for it, and it was hilarious because by the time I was waiting for you in the car at the end, and I was like, you do realize you just dropped $100 in Athol in like 20 minutes.
I did Reiki while Charlotte was getting her card read, and obviously we're at a market, right? So it's under 110. So I could hear everything that Charlotte was getting read to her while I was getting Reiki off this awesome guy. And I respond pretty good to stuff like that. I don't really understand it, but I do respond to it. But as he releases the energy, he belches, like he burps. So Charlotte is getting her cards read. This is on the highway, the main Invercargill Queenstown highway, in a pop-up tent. And I'm getting Reiki, he's burping, and Charlotte is getting her cards read. And at one stage, I just had to giggle at something that was said to you. I was trying not to listen. And then I thought to myself, oh, she is just going to think this burping is mental. And you did. You were just like, oh, that was strange. I mean, in a lovely way, but like, what a fucking bizarre moment to put the 2 of us into.
I know. I literally just arrived, and I got to your house, and Sandra instantly mentioned my eyebrows, which is probably my most sensitive topic ever. And then you were like, right, let's go get a reading. And we went down there straight in. I'm trying to listen to these cards that are being drawn out and what my future holds. And I just hear this guy burping, and you're just laying there peacefully, like as if nothing's going on. And I'm like, oh, I was getting so distracted. Like, what's going on? Like, and I wanted to laugh, but then I was like, no, this is serious. This is like, I'm really into this.
Yeah,
but no, they were great. They were such an epic couple.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. You didn't get the Reiki done, but yes, I did drop $100 just on the Athol highway. I found it really good. I loved it. I love all that stuff. And I just thought, fuck it, let's do it. It's right there. You happen to be coming down. What were the fucking odds? Let's just go for it and see what happens. And apparently I'm a clairvoyant, people. Once again, I've been told this numerous amount of times. My cards just literally all like read, like clairvoyant, clairvoyant, clairvoyant. And I know nothing about anything. So I'm just repeating what I'm being told, but I truly do not have a clue. She said to me, she was like, say something to me, like just off the top of your head. And I was like, oh, you're resisting something. And she told me this big story about what she's resisting. And I kind of thought, well, everyone is resisting something, you know, like, where's the line here?
There was one flaw in my reading because she was like, oh, I'm getting a pain in my back. Is that you? And I was like, no pains in my back. Like, seriously, I don't have pains in my back. And then she turned around to you laying on the bed, you know, with the man burping around you. And she's like, how about you? And you were like, yeah, I do have a pain. And I was like, stop ruining my reading. Like, you're
Yeah,
channeling this woman
but I
while she's
did whatever
reading
he
for
was doing.
me.
I was getting. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, oh no, I was getting all these like kind of spasms on the middle of my back, the bottom center of my back. So that was fucking weird for sure. I mean, energy does have its place. I just don't understand it, but I'm very intrigued. So I love going like to do things like that, no problem. And yeah, my reading was very just like, yeah, you're on the right. And she told me that there was two cards that were pulled. And of course, I'm fucking useless. Definitely Charlotte should have gone after me because there was two cards pulled that was very same as two cards you pulled. And she said that was quite strange. You know, they were very aligned. They were very, she was very like, what are you two doing? Like, she was very much like
Taking over the
confused
world
about like why that they were because of the cards they were. Charlotte's like, what were the cards? And I was like, oh, I have no idea.
I know, and I
You were like,
really
you're
wish
useless.
that you'd remembered, because there was one that came up for me that said a teacher mentor is about to come into my life. And I feel like we've got a lot of things going on in the, underworld of us building our empire. And I feel like if that was drawn for you, that would be amazing, because it means that, we've got someone that's about to come into our life that's going to guide us and help us. And that would have been incredible. But you can't remember the bloody card. So
So I've come to the conclusion that I am your teacher. I am your
really?
mentor. I'm going to guide you. Yeah, you're like, really? Get fucked.
You've been my mentor for years. We're each other's mentors. And, I think that's actually like we do write a bit of notes about, things that we want to talk about in the podcast each week. And something that's been on the list for a really long time, and we didn't select it for this episode, but I feel like it's appropriate right now, is about how important it is to lean on other people outside of your organization for support and mentorship and growth. And me and you very much play that role in our business lives. Is that, there is the 6 a.m. phone calls when Sandro's like, why is she phoning you at this time? But it's because, like I know it's the only time I'll actually get your attention, because you're so busy and I'm so busy. It's the only time that we can have a real conversation without having to get in the shower or do a client's hair, or I'm about to go to a meeting. We really only have the mornings, because in the evenings you put your phone in a box and no one can get hold of you.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the phone in the box in the evenings. That you honestly, I don't think I've told you this. Now that you brought up the 6 a.m. phone calls, we were a bit late with a phone call this week, and I had my earphones on because once again, Sandra's like, I don't want to fucking listen to the two of you. I actually had no choice. I was running so late that I got in the shower. So we had a full blown conversation while I was in the shower the other morning.
I know, and I could hardly hear you. And I was like, I'm going to go now, because
What did you
I can't really
know?
hear what you're saying.
I mean, I just thought to myself, that is the weirdest fucking level we've gotten to, surely. I mean, we've shared a room and nothing has been weirder, I think, than me wearing my earphones in the shower having a conversation with you.
Next level friendship.
Right, I don't know. Oh, that is the next level shit right there. Speaking of mornings, did you feel the earthquake this morning?
No, what time?
I don't know, about 6 a.m. there was about a 5 point something in Tiana. We probably wouldn't have felt it in Cromwell. But people like in Kingston and like people in the salon today have said like it woke them up. And I thought to myself, there was a bit of weird action going on in my house this morning. Like I was actually left to sleep in till 6 a.m. Like usually that doesn't happen. Usually I get a claw on the face by one of the cats, Syra, for food. And she gets quite aggressive. Like she wants me to get up. Even if I go down and feed her, like she'll still come back up and she wants me to physically get up. But this morning, at the time of the earthquake, she just fucked off outside, and I thought, well, that's great. Don't wake me up in a crisis. Why don't you? And Sandra was like, "That's really strange." And he went downstairs and he opened the door to see, like, that's so weird. Siren never leaves the house in the morning without scratching my face off for food. And turns out, cats just abandon you.
Yeah. But we love them
Yeah.
anyway.
I just thought to myself, well, that's great. The one morning she doesn't wake me up, the house could have fallen on top of me. So
That's
thank you,
fair.
Sarah.
I've
Thank you,
learnt
cats,
that
for that.
I've been on the cat chat. My I don't know if I've spoken about it on this, but one of my cats has got this absolute weird obsession with this toy, and like at about 8:30 every night, she gets really like anxious. She just wants to play with the toy because I keep it in the bedroom. So about 8:30, she's like, and I'm like, okay, all right, we'll go to bed soon. And then I saw this video that your cat's put you to bed, and I was like, oh my god, it's not the toy. She just wants me to go to bed.
Yeah, she's putting me to bed. The cats don't go upstairs until I go upstairs. They're like putting me to bed. They couldn't give a shit about Sandra. But yeah, cats are mental. Speaking of
Yeah.
mental as well, I called you this week and I said, Charlotte, I might be stuck for some fuel money. Is it okay if I take money? Is it okay if I take money from the podcast to put into my account to get some fuel? And I only had my business card, which is fine. Um, and when it came to actually transferring the money into the account, a couple of bills had come out and it went into the overdraft. And bear in mind, I only had the fucking salon card with me. So when it came to that evening, I ended up getting some overdrafts. So there wasn't enough money in the account to cover the overdrafts. So I had to drive home again on absolutely zero fuel. And I mean zero. I wouldn't even know with the car that I have how many Ks I've got left. It was on empty for, well, who knows how long. So I decided just to head home. Thought nothing of it. I thought I get home or I don't. No problem. I was very calm and collective about it. There wasn't a panic like there normally is. You know when people are like staring at the empty. I just got the hell home. And I got into bed and I said to Sandra, I was just like, I've got no fuel. And he was like, Jesus Christ. And I needed the car to stay late tonight. I could have easily gotten a lift down and a lift home at the appropriate work hours, but we're doing this tonight, so couldn't do that. So I took a chance. And I said, Sandro, follow me to the market garden. So the market garden is 10 minutes from the house and then 10 minutes from the salon. And I knew he had fuel at the market garden. And I went in, got there, which was amazing, pumped the fuel in. And while I'm putting the fuel in the car, I had this realization. Do you remember the last time this happened? Don't know what episode it was, but I kind of had a bit of a meltdown. I was like, what is it all about? I can't even afford the fuel. And I had a bit of a breakdown. Whereas this time, as I'm putting the fuel in, I was also staring at the container that arrived the day before for Sandro for the market garden, which is incredible. And I thought to myself, do you know what? This isn't a failure. This is a success story. I'm prioritizing putting the wall in to get the tenons in the back. I'm prioritizing the new lovely girl working in the salon. I'm prioritizing Sandro getting a container. Do you know, I'm just ticking off on all these big things that are happening and thinking, well, the money will come, I'm sure of it. And I thought to myself, you know what? The fuel was just not a priority, which obviously I know it should be, but I was just trying to play the positive on the fact that it's not a bad thing. I saw it as a success story and I saw it as this is such a minor thing. I'll still get to work even if I had to there's no problem. I'm just down the road and it really felt good. It felt good. It really felt like things are moving. I know there's no money in any of my accounts. That's okay. And maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me. I don't know, but it actually didn't feel like a terrible thing. It just felt like so many bigger things are happening that are more for the future. For instance, the container has to come for Sandro to leave the back of the salon so that the wall can go up, so the staff room can be created, so the renters can go into the back for their office. There's a big ripple effect to all this. And for me, it was my own fault. I could have filled up on fuel days earlier. I took that responsibility and I ran with it. And I felt like such a grown up. I felt like that was the first moment I felt I own a business. Is that crazy?
No, it's
You're
normal.
like, yes. Is it? You're just like, no, it's not. Fill your car up with fuel, you idiot. You live
Well,
in the middle of
I mean,
nowhere.
fill the car up with fuel. That's kind of, when you talk to me a lot about, I paid the essentials and the rest have to wait. I would say fuel is an essential because you can't open the salon without it.
I had a method. It was the overdraft. It was the bills that came out that went into the overdraft. Got me unexpected, but that's okay. I mean, honestly. But thank you so much for letting me just like borrow the pod money, which I will still give back. I didn't realize it ended up. Obviously, I didn't realize the overdrafts were at that stage. And also speaking of the salon, you got to come down to see the salon.
Yes, and it's been a good old while, hasn't it? Um,
I know.
but
I mean, I
yeah,
lit the fire and everything for you.
I know. And I said I felt awful because I was like, "Don't do that just for me." And you're like, "No, we're going to be here a while." But no, it was great, and it was lovely to see the salon and how amazing it's evolved into just you, like on brand you. It's incredible. So yeah, if you haven't got your hair done at Willow Society and you live anywhere near Lumsden, even Queenstown or Cromwell, get over there and have a look at the salon because it's a really lovely place to be. I felt like I was in your little cottage.
I know it's like a little cottage with the sitting room and the fireplace, and obviously now it's not just me. I've got a staff member called Tara, and Tara's here, and we've always joked about like me wanting to just double myself. That's all I want to do. I just always wanted to double myself, and clients were always just like, "Just two of you would be fine." Oh my god, we have turned up to work wearing the same clothes. We like she is a Canadian version. I'm not going to say a version of me. I don't want to say that, but there is a lot of similarities. Like she messaged me at 6 a.m. one morning. I was like, oh my god, my person, my person. um,
She got the
and
memo that you can only get hold of Gráinne at 6 a.m.
I could get the memo though. It's so fluid. It's so natural. Sharing my space with her feels like it was always being shared with her because you know how worried I was because I was so content being in my own space. Like sharing such a small space with somebody full time is so difficult if it's not a good fit. But oh
I
my
love
god,
the way
we
you
are
say
just
that, sharing a small space. When you've worked in multiple salons around the world that have been less than half the size of your salon and you're like sharing it with in a small space, it's massive. Like it's just because
I
it's
think
yours. What you're saying is sharing my space. That's what you mean.
and patience is a virtue. The right
And so
people and the
what
right thing.
I mean, like, just thinking of like listeners and, if they're thinking of hiring people for the first time, because it's quite a big thing, letting go. And we had very much a deep conversation about this on Sunday, when you're bleaching my hair, because it literally been since October. My roots were down past my ears that we were like, should we just let it go? And I'm just natural.
No.
But we were talking about this, and the big thing about when you start your own business, and you pour your heart and soul into it, the client experience, everything, you've tailored it so much to you. When you finally branch out and start to expand, what do you look for to bring someone in? Like, I spoke to a client the other day that had brought someone into their business and she totally wasn't a good fit, and then it's very awkward kind of trying to end that relationship and retract everything that you've put out on social media. Like, it's a massive thing, especially when it's yours, of investing that much energy into your baby business and your
Yeah.
personality all over it, to bring a stranger in to your clients, to your space. What do you look for to find someone to fit your culture and your vibe, really, your brand vibe?
Well, personally, I can only speak for myself, and I think advertising before I was ready was a really good thing to do because I wasn't desperate for anybody to be in my space. It was kind of a case of let's put the feelers out there and let's just see what comes back. So I wasn't
Yeah.
in a position where I have to have somebody, because the advertisements went out, but it's 4 months later this all happened. Because, she did email earlier on when the advertisements were out, and I actually convinced her to talk to the bosses that she had. And then, like, 4 months later, comes back and goes, no, I think I need to make a move. And her reasons weren't because of a salon. She's very clever, very ballsy and very clever what her reasons were. And I met up with her a few times, but I also encouraged her to come to the salon to see the environment. And I encouraged her to see how she felt within the environment. Like, I was
Yeah.
also happy for her to go, it's not a bit of me, and I'm going to move on. And I even said to her, if that is the case, I'll happily help her find a salon. That's her vibe. I think
Mm.
just I didn't oversell myself. I didn't tell her she was going to be happy here. I wasn't desperate for somebody to join me. I was very
Yes.
encouraging of, is this a good fit for you? And I truly just was myself. Like, when I met up with her, like, and she had a coffee and I had a beer. Like, um I was trying to be just as true to myself as possible, because if she felt that vibe, if she was happy with me being true to myself, then that would be a good fit. Does that make, because you can only control what you can control, and all I can control is me. No point in being false, because that's going to be gone after a week of working together. There's no point in her not seeing the space. I encouraged her to come down, sit in the space. We spent an hour in the salon. Even clients were coming in. It was it was an active salon. It wasn't a day I was closed or anything like that. And she also said one thing that I actually loved. So you have to be aware of things, like, keep an ear out for things that, they might say. And when she came to visit the salon, she said, is there a bathroom? And I said, oh my God, like, I immediately love you. So, my personal journey is the fact that she was looking for a bathroom. She's been through the same thing as me, in the sense of, we worked in small, pokey salons where you have to send clients outside to go to maybe the bakery's bathroom or the hotel bathroom, or the public bathrooms, which are just down the road, which the council has signed off on that it's okay to use for the salon to be there. But, it's just never the same. Even for
Isn't
us,
that
like, we'll
funny?
delay going. Yeah. And the minute she said that, I was like, oh my God, I fucking love you. I mean, I didn't say that straight to her face. That's not scare people away. But in my head, I was like, she's got values that reflects onto the customers or her own health. She either
Yeah.
wants to know that, because honestly, hairdressers hold in going to the bathroom, especially if they have to leave the salon. And also, or she was concerned about the client's well being of going outside. So either way, she was thinking of something outside of money, or, just that really sang to me, which I know is absolutely
Mm.
crazy. A staff room was another one. I'm stoked for her to love that there's a staff room. Um, she got excited. She brought her air fryer in. It's great. And she was willing to build a clientele. She was all over Instagram without asking. She was putting up. I didn't put any pressure on her. I said to her, listen, I'll just put adverts in the background. Like, I gave her a bit of a strategy of what it would look like if she came to work in this salon. And I said, this is what I would do, because I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be all over Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. I can just silently put them in the background and target Southland or Northern Southland. And, I left her take that first step to putting herself out there to announce it on Instagram. I think there is
Mm.
really soft things you can do. But like I said, I think the initial part of me was, I'm not desperate for someone to join the team of me.
Yeah. You wanted to
By
find the
putting
right person.
I agree.
And
And, like, her CV was impressive, and how she applied for it was impressive. Like, apparently the click to download the CV wasn't working. So she wrote that in the email. She's like, hey, I just went a roundabout way. I hope you don't mind that I send it to you via this way. And I was like, oh my God, like, she didn't give up on the first hurdle. which I thought was really
Yeah.
impressive. And then she also, she was just very clever about how she did things. And bear in mind, I got other applications within all this. And like those 4 months, like we just left those adverts going. And, you know, some of them I wrote back to saying, thank you very much for your application. Like, I'm all good. The vibe was immediate. And I think just that foundation of putting it out before either you're ready or just to put the feelers out or just not be desperate, because then you'll be blindsided. You might not pick up on little details that maybe you should pick up on for to find someone very suitable for your space. Yeah.
It takes me back to do you remember when I moved to Wellington and I was temping at Inland Revenue for a while because I found my dream job. And it's very similar to what you're describing, because I had 7 interviews over the space of 2.5 months. Like, it was so mega. But as soon as I walked into that space, I knew I wanted to work there. It was just a really funky
Mm.
agency. You know, it was kind of like that bare warehouse kind of setting. And they had this massive kitchen. They had Whittaker's chocolate, like just loads of it, just ready and waiting for you. We had somebody to make us teas and coffees. There was a record player, so everybody would choose their records for the days. Like, it was, you know, if I was going to stay in Wellington, because I had a few doubts, that's where I wanted to work. And one of the interviews was to come and meet 5 of the staff members and just hang out. And so literally I went along, and it was so bizarre because we were all sat round the kitchen table. It was like a high table. And they're all like, you know, so, you know, what do you like doing? And, you know, what's your favorite food? Do you like going out for dinner? Where do you like going? You know, all this random stuff, but to see whether I would fit in with the culture and the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember it being so mega. It went on for so long.
That's a
And you
long
know,
time to have a temp job waiting to get your dream job.
well, yeah. And, you know, like now we obviously deal with Inland Revenue quite a lot, having businesses, and me personally working there. They have a lot of morning teas and afternoon teas and quizzes, and that I'm
Woo!
like,
She's calling them
come on, I
out.
know what you're all doing. I was there.
She's calling them out. I love
And
it.
talking
I
of
mean,
earthquakes as well, I was working at Inland Revenue when that massive earthquake hit Wellington. And it was so funny because me and my friend Sarah, who I met through that job and who I'm like best friends with now, years later, we've traveled the world together. Um, the earthquake happened and everyone just kind of paused. And me and Sarah were both the two that just dived under the desks and was like, what the hell is going on?
but you were up in a high rise, weren't you? Like,
Yeah.
it was swaying.
Yeah.
Of
I
course
mean,
you'd
it
fucking
was
jump under the
actually
table.
one of the earthquake proof buildings in Wellington, but it was still swaying because of that, the movement. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, and I remember we all got evacuated, and they said you can go home, and I was kind of like, yeah, but what do I do? Do I go through the city or along the seafront? Because will there be a bloody tsunami, or will the buildings fall on me? I was like, I don't know which way to go.
Valid questions.
Yeah, I learned a lot in Wellington about earthquakes, and yeah, it was a
And to
mental
wear
time.
shorts underneath your dress.
Yes. And also, like, I was, you know, actually, weirdly, I was thinking this probably last night or the night before. I always have, and ever since then, because I used to have all my necklaces and earrings on these hooks in my bedroom. And it was always a good sign for me to know if I woke up in the night and there was a rattle, if they were going, that means there was an earthquake.
Mm,
If they weren't, it means the couple that were sharing a house were.
there was just some getting, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, well,
So I
listen,
still
I'd
have
love to
those
have a
hooks
little
in
sign.
I
Mm,
have those hooks in my bedroom because it always kind of, you know, I suppose that's just the kind of triggers that I got from living in Wellington was like, how do I know if it's happening? Because it happens so often.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is a good trick for sure. Well, I mean, I mean, it's Wellington or Southland is getting hit. Like that big earthquake that they predict will happen in our lifetime, they describe it's going to be like a zip. So it'll either open up Wellington or it'll open up Southland. So
Wow.
there, yeah, I know. It's hard to even think of, but you have to, I suppose, as well, to be a bit prepared for it. Didn't your plan was always like Gráinne and Sandra will rescue me?
That's when we lived in the same town. You can't rescue me now. Although I do feel like my mum has always, I think it's because she was raised by wartime, parents. Um, she always has stashes of food, like
Mm.
she has it in the salon actually. They've got a salon next behind the garage. My dad builds in a salon wherever we live. 'Cause she's a hairdresser as well, obviously. And she always has a cupboard full of tin food and rice and pasta and stuff. So when COVID hit, they were totally fine. They've got their storage of backup food when there were shortages at the supermarket. And I was looking at my pantry the other day and I was thinking, yes, I've been doing that. Like I have like rice pudding in the cupboard. I don't eat rice pudding. It's delicious, but it's just there in case, when there's a disaster, at least I can sit and eat rice pudding.
Well, listen, it's not a silly idea. It's not a silly idea at all. Rice pudding will get you through a couple of days if you had to.
Yeah, nice sweet dessert. How bizarre.
Everyone, everyone needs to go on YouTube, go on Spotify, go on Apple Podcasts. I really need you to subscribe. I need you to download. We have got big things coming up, people. And if you listen, and we know you do, if you do, you're die hard, please do those things for us. Download the episode you're going to
Yeah.
listen to. Subscribe to the Spotify. Follow us on YouTube. We will be getting more into YouTube in the future, but we have some things that we've got coming up behind the scenes to make this a whole new kind of journey. It's going to be exciting. It's a roller coaster, but we're getting people on board. We're going to have a lot of fun, but we need that support from you. Subscribe and download. We see
Yes,
you.
Grania.
Thank you, Charlotte.